Hello, this video is just about me, so no hard feelings if you don't watch it. There's just been a few comments, a bit of discourse. I think a few of my older videos have been coming up and popping into your feed, and people have watched them and thought, he looks different now. And yeah, that's exactly right, I do. So it's a little quick video about what changed and how I basically shrunk my face. Because yeah, back in, until about probably 3 or 4 years ago, I had a bit of a bigger face and just a bit of a bigger general body. So let's go into it. This isn't a hugely complex matter. First though, I'll talk a bit about life and then I'll talk about what I did. So immediately out the door, best thing for me to do is acknowledge my privilege. Got to check your privilege, brah. So this is where I am lucky enough to be in a country with, good standards of living, relatively affordable fresh fruit and vegetables. Like, good food here is cheaper than fast food, which is a big problem elsewhere. Like, when the fast food's cheaper than the good food, that's often, a big cause of things. But yeah, here, generally speaking, I know people go on about cost of living and whatnot. Fresh fruit and veg, bit of decent-ish quality meat to make it home yourself is a lot cheaper than going and eating out every night with your family. So that's a thing that I had nothing to do with, that I was just lucky about. Secondly, I'm in a good, stable relationship, which is a general key to overall happiness. Even when I've been less healthy, to be generally happy and to be generally supported is a good thing. And that's a bit of effort, but also, frankly, a bit of luck. You don't know whether your paths with a person are going to stay on the same track for your whole life, and there's not really a great deal you can do about that. Lucky enough, I've been lucky so far. Even when we've each been bigger and smaller and whatever, we've always been into each other, me and the wife. So those are my lucky, things to acknowledge. The rest is some just choices I've made and things that I've done and stopped doing and whatever to, probably lose about 15 kilograms over an 18-month to 2-year sort of period. So what have I done? Well, first of all, when I was in my 20s is when we did all of our house setting up, child having and rearing and all that sort of stuff. And that is a shit period of life in terms of looking after yourself. Your lowest priority is yourself, and that's fine. Enjoy those years, enjoy having cute little baby children and little toddlers and all of the fun and all of the annoyance and all of the things that brings. That's a full-on period of your life, and I was lucky enough to be able to do that in my 20s when my body could take a few for the team, or you can treat your body like a bit of a bin when you're in your 20s and it doesn't do too much kicking back. So again, a bit of luck, but that's sort of where I was at for most of the first, say, 7 years of my YouTubering career. Like, I'm in that stage where, I'm having kids, I'm sort of just doing household chores, I'm squeezing in a few low effort YouTube videos for most of that. And, I'm just kind of generally having as much fun as I can whilst being, having all my priorities everywhere else but my own health. So what I could start to do as my children got a little bit less absolutely dependent moment to moment for their care from both of us, because we both work full time as well. We've always been very busy people. We decided to have 2 kids close together. Basically, every child, some marriages, they seem to just keep resetting that clock. You just get your kids into fucking primary school and you're squeezing out another baby again. And, if that's for you, that's for you. But for us, we've always just thought that if you keep resetting the clock, like, life's going to get, more and more hard to control. You're always going to have like a new baby in the house. Yikes. So luckily we get to a point where our children are both requiring less moment to moment, hour to hour care. And so you can start looking after yourself a bit more. The first brush I had, and another acknowledgement, I was never a big fat or anything like that. I've always been, relatively slender, but certain points in my 20s, and early 30s, I was definitely on the husky side. There are a couple of photos that I look at and I'm a bit like, wow. So I've sort of been able to put time into this, is what I'm getting at. So 3 things: food, exercise, and alcohol. Those are the 3 things that I changed in my life. Let's start with food. So I do a thing called intermittent fasting, and I'm not saying this is right for you, but it's definitely been right for me. My breakfast, I break my fast at midday every day. Before that, I have black coffee, and generally I have hunger for breakfast. Hunger is the fat leaving your body. We are not as active as we were in prehistory or in the peasant days, so I think we could all do to drop a meal. Don't know if that's controversial, but I still have breakfast, it's just at midday. And so my midday meal, my first meal, I try and make it the best quality meal that I can make. Generally, it is a smoothie of some sort with berries, with broccoli, and with a protein powder in it. And then I try and have at least 3 to 4 eggs on a piece of like good quality bread, like the good bread, the bread that your kids hate, right? That's my first meal. I'll show you. Alrighty, so it's midday. The first thing I'm going to consume, apart from black coffee, so the first calories I have during the day are this shake, which is broccoli, blueberries, and a chocolate protein powder. And then I'll have this, and it feels weird just having this as a meal, so I will also have 3 eggs on a piece of toast with Parmesan cheese. So that is that's my starter meal for the day. This pan, this is just eggs. I don't put anything else in my scrambled eggs. I used to put milk in them, I used to put butter in them. As long as you have a good pan, this is like a iron ceramic coated pan. This is just my egg cooking pan. And this is all I use to make just a little 1 piece of toast worth of scrambled eggs, just like that. And then I do butter my toast. I try and use either rye bread or wholemeal bread. And then Parmesan cheese has some really good vitamins in it that you don't really get from many other places in your day-to-day. And then just a bit of butter, which is, it's fun. But yeah, I do like to have some real food with my shake. And then the things that I'll eat from there, I will snack on like the healthier stuff like Carmen's bars, which are still held together with raw sugar and whatever. But, I try and just keep away from eating like a bag of lollies like I would have used to have done. I would have gone to the service station, filled my car with petrol, on the way out gone, ooh, fantails. And then that would have been me for the day. I would have had my extra 1,500 calories from eating a bag of fantails. And so I've just stopped doing that, and I try and snack on, fruit. It was funny, when I started eating fruit again, I literally thought to myself, it's been a while since I did this. Since I ate fruit. Don't know. Funny stage of life to be in, that period. My kids were eating shitloads of fruit. Me though, so I will snack on like the healthier stuff. And then my dinner, we just try and do basic dinners of like a meat and a vegetables, maybe a pasta from time to time. But again, it's generally going towards the protein heavy diet with enough carbs to keep you shitting right, but not like super carb heavy. That's generally the school of thought that seems to be, when I check into this stuff, this seems to be what is generally recommended. So that's what I do for food. Then I finish eating at like 7 p.m. I generally try pretty hard to not eat anything else. Sometimes I'll have some extra like little snacky things, but try and be healthy snacks. And then I won't eat again until midday the next day. And just black coffee until then. So that sucks. It can be hard, especially now, but especially like if you're just changing to doing that. But for me, currently, it's the normal, and it's been happening long enough. It's like the normal habit. So that's what I do for food. Exercise, I have always had huge issues doing exercise that requires like me going to somewhere or like me using lots of equipment. So I'm all about body weight exercise. I do just stuff that I can do on my bedroom floor. I'm not looking to get massive. I am not a muscular person. I would say I'm lean, and that's it. And I'm happy with it. I just want a body that works. I don't want a body that looks awesome for babes or anything like that. I'm not fussed. I just want my body to work. So I do basic body weight exercises. And when I can wake up early in the morning and I'm not working and when it works, I go to a local yoga class. And sometimes I do a Pilates class as well. And that's done in a hot room. So you get a good sweat up, gets everything burning, get everything going. That's all I do. I do my little routine on my bedroom floor. I walk the dogs from time to time, and then I do a bit of yoga and Pilates to keep myself, all the bits of the body that you don't really work out in, normal exercise, kind of gives them all a bit of a gussy up as well. So that's what I do there. The last thing, and this feels like the biggest thing to me, was I stopped drinking alcohol. Pretty much. Like I will still drink an alcohol if I'm with, people in a social setting where it's easier just to have a fucking beer in your hand than to keep telling everyone why you're not, that's just the thing about the world, and that's how alcohol has pretty much always been. Alcohol is pervasive. It's the most pervasive drug. in society. And you know what? Most people, it's not a problem. And for me, it wasn't a problem in terms of, it wasn't ruining my life, but it was an extra form of calories, and it was an extra form of like just destabilization to my body's chemistry, I feel. Like, I watched a great podcast. I watched the Huberman Lab podcast episode on alcohol. And the intent wasn't to put you off alcohol, but if you really listen to the podcast, it puts you off alcohol. Like, there's something about it, and it made me stop and think, why am I doing this? I wasn't even drinking in like a fun way where I was getting drunk. I was just having like a couple of gins every night, like 1 or 2 gins every night though, like after my dinner. And it was that whole thing where I would finish my dinner and the kids would have their dessert and I'd be like, time for a gin. Just that, and you can see how these habits form. I was in a habit. And I wasn't, it wasn't affecting me like my mood or anything, but it was affecting my sleep. I would wake up at 2 a.m., really badly need to piss, and kind of have like a sugary rush or something. And that stopped when I stopped drinking alcohol. So maybe that's just how it affects me, but that's what it was doing it. And so my sleep has improved since I've stopped drinking alcohol. I've saved money from stop drinking alcohol. And yeah, just for one of those things that was really quite pointless for me doing it. I wasn't even doing it to like, I don't know, go and be social. I was just in my house having a couple of gins. I don't know. In hindsight, it seems like such a simple thing to have cut out, but I really was in a habit, to the point where when I first decided I wasn't going to do it anymore and I didn't go and buy the next bottle of gin when I went shopping, I remember finishing my dinner and being all like, oh, something's missing here. And that's how it gets you. That's how it forms that habit. And you have that weird little feeling, that nervy sort of feeling that, oh, you should be doing this right now. And I didn't, and I've managed to just not worry about it since. Other people have way bigger problems with alcohol than that, and my problem with alcohol, if you're giving them out, I would say, yes, that one please, over the bloody states that some poor devils get with the stuff. But yeah, even for me, getting rid of it basically entirely, apart from when I'm in specific social circumstances, has really let me just take care of my general health much more as well. So that's the 3 things, that's the 3 points of tackling that I made to like start looking after myself a bit better. And that's why, yeah, now my face is slim. And even though I'm getting older, I want to set myself up, because I know that like when women hit their 40s, they have like a second wind. And often when dudes hit their 40s, that's when they start getting all fat and shit and slovenly and it's about taking care of yourself and your relationship as well. Like, you don't want to be the dud in the relationship who's all like, ugh. Like right now I'm fit and, my body's done me most of those favors. But when you hit your mid to early 30s, you really start feeling that thing. If you start treating your body like a garbage bin, your body starts to bite back just a little bit. Had a couple of little warning shots maybe in certain things. And so I sort of listened, and I'm taking care of myself now. And again, this is from someone, I don't have any chronic illnesses, I don't have any injuries, I don't have any things like that. So again, some things that I didn't work hard on to get this way as well, so I need to acknowledge them, that it's not for everyone. But for me, those 3 choices that I made, those 3 little lifestyle changes, are seeming to be leading me into like a pretty healthy future. Unless I could just get some random kind of cancer or something, who knows? But there's only so much you can do. But I feel for the preventable stuff, without going too crazy and being able to just be in a good habit, that's where I'm at right now. So yeah, that's my trick. That's my 3 easy tips to shrinking the old dome a little bit. All right, see you later.